That's okay.
Then you'll control it.
I thought I raised that with him though, and he's like, "Well, that's all the amendment." It's okay. All right. Good evening, good folks, and welcome to this special work session / general session of the City Commission this November 7th of the year 2022. So before we get into our prayer and pledge of allegiance, if you'd like to address the City Commission during public comment period, we do have 2 public comment periods, one at the beginning of the meeting, which is on any of our agenda items, and then one reserved at the end of the meeting for whichever topics you wish to speak on. If you want to address the City Commission, please complete the comment form at the back of the room and submit it to our City Clerk and Mish. On the form, please provide your name, home address, on the topic on which you'll be speaking. When it's your time to speak, I will acknowledge you and you'll come to the podium, provide your name, and give your remarks. Note, I will not share your address publicly, nor will I ask you to announce your address before public comment. Throughout our commission meeting, let's maintain decorum and remain respectful of one another. Visitors to our meeting should refrain from making remarks from the audience and instead are welcome to sign up to give public comment at the podium when called upon. All right. So if you care to join us in a moment of silence as well as the Pledge of Allegiance, I ask you to stand if you are so able to do so. And we'll just take a moment of silence to reflect and guide us as we begin doing the business of serving our city and its citizens. Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have roll call, please?
Commissioner St. Clair? Here. Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Hood? Absent. Commissioner Ramsey? Absent. Vice Mayor German?
Here.
Commissioner Gorman?
Here.
Commissioner Emery?
Here.
Thank you. All right. Before we get into public comment on agenda items and the rest of our business, we do have a presentation on a regional transit authority, a potential regional transit authority, and that's going to be led out by Muskegon County. And we've got we got Bob Lukens joining us, the community engagement, or community development director for the County of Muskegon. Welcome.
Thank you, and good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Glad to be here. Bob Lukens, Community Development Director for Muskegon County. I'm here to talk tonight about the potential for a transit authority in Muskegon County. We've been working with, Wimserdick about a year ago received a grant to do from the Michigan Department of Transportation to do a regional transit systems governance and organizational transition study. So what they're doing is looking at the potential for the MATS system, the transit system here in Muskegon County, to become an independent authority. We've been in discussions for about a year, and these discussions have been led by Wimserdick and coordinated by SRF, a hired consultant for the project. And we've been delving into the information about what it would take to create an authority, a transit authority here in the county. What we're asking you for tonight is to appoint someone on the city staff, I would say, that could be the representative for the city. It could either be a commissioner or a city staff person to be able to attend the meetings. The meetings will be a lot more frequent now as we're learning more about the potential for an authority, and we just ask that the city would be involved and appoint either a staff or a council member to be part of that discussion moving forward. That's basically it.
All right.
We're nothing to vote on, nothing for the council to vote on as far as becoming an authority or anything yet. We're still in the very preliminary stages of this. We just need to continue those discussions and, kind of ascertain which municipalities are in and which are not interested. So.
All right. And presently we have the cities of Muskegon and
City of Muskegon, Muskegon Heights, Norton Shores, Roosevelt Park. There is interest from North Muskegon and Muskegon Township also. Ms. Mikesell has been involved in these discussions in the past, probably for about the past year or so. The City of Muskegon also has been a very active participant.
wonderful. Yeah, and I served on the Windsor board, or for folks at home, the West Michigan Shoreline Regional Development Commission board, and we got that grant. I was looking at how we might be able to work with Harbor Transit or potentially even merge with Harbor Transit, and
Yes.
this consideration of a regional transit authority was born out of that exploration, as you mentioned. And now our Commissioner Gorman is serving on the Windsor board. So given Ms. Mikesell's work already in this regard, I would encourage us to appoint or have Ms. Mikesell serve as the city's representative, continue to serve as the city's representative as we move forward with this endeavor.
Sure.
So unless there are any objections, all right. Would you like to make a formal motion on appointing Ms. Mikesell as the city's representative for this purpose?
No, I think that's sufficient. That way staff can make alternative coverage if necessary,
If need be.
without coming back to you.
Okay. So we don't have to appoint alternates.
Right.
Okay, that works. Works for me.
I think all we would need, Mayor, is just a letter stating the fact that Ms. Mikesell would be the contact.
Okay.
Great.
Excellent.
Any questions?
You want to write your own letter?
Any questions?
Commissioners? All right.
Thank you very
Well,
much.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Yeah. Take care. Okay.
Do you want, with regard to the Crown Health, do you want just to move forward, or would you like to hold off on it?
He didn't respond, but he's here now, so let's have him chat.
Okay, because we're also interested in potentially making that change with regard to the common area maintenance aspect of the money. So,
Okay.
potentially. Changes that.
Send it back to staff.
Okay.
Good. We'll just do it.
All right, commissioners. You've had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Are there any items that you wish to have removed for separate consideration, deliberation, and vote? Commissioner Emery.
Item G.
Was that G?
Yep. G.
Mayor, did you want to open up the public comment?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I jumped ahead and passed that. I haven't received any forms on agenda items. However, there's still an opportunity to speak on our agenda items. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak on an agenda item before we proceed? Nope. All right. Seeing none. Commissioners, are there any other items on consent that you wish to have removed for separate deliberation?
You're gonna have somebody remove that?
All right. I'm going to ask that item B be removed as well. Then I would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda as presented, minus items B and G.
So move.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor German, supported by Commissioner St. Clair, to adopt the consent agenda as presented, minus items B and G. There's no discussion. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson. Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. All right, item B, arena lease Carlisle's.
I move to approve the lease and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign.
Support.
All right, a motion by Commissioner St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Gorman, to approve the lease with Carlisle's at the Trinity Health Arena and authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign. All right. Director Grant.
Hi, we're attempting Carlisle's and our the city of Muskegon trying to come together. When they built out the arena for their restaurant, we originally agreed to go up to $650,000. They went over by $210,000. They paid us the $650,000, and we're attempting to agree for us to reduce that. The best way of saying is that instead of us paying us $210,000, the lease cost for us to pay out, give them a credit for the build out. So instead of giving us a credit, us paying them back plus interest for the additional $210,000, they want to reduce that and offset it by a credit. And by doing that, it's going to save the city about $79,000 in interest or payouts over about, is it 2040. So it's a win-win for both organizations. We save on interest and credits payouts, and they don't have to come up with a large sum of money to pay us back.
So
It allows them a little more capital to reinvest into Carlisle if they wanted to continue to do like a Four Seasons patio area and stuff. So they want to take that savings and reinvest to continue to build their.
So the original agreement anticipated up to $650,000 construction costs that was going to be reimbursed by the leasee upon securing of the participation agreement or access to the liquor license. The cost for build out, and this isn't to equip their restaurant or their personal property, this is fixed capital improvements to the arena. Just want to clarify so that people aren't thinking that we're building and equipping their restaurant. This is fixed assets that these construction costs went to. So it was originally $650,000 anticipated up to, and you said it went over by
$210,780.09.
Okay. And they ended up paying us back the $650,000
already. They paid us that already. But part of their lease, they get a credit for the build out.
based upon that.
Yes.
The $7 per 1,000.
Yes.
First construction costs. Okay. Commissioners, do you have any other questions? Right now?
Comment.
Comments?
I was able to meet with the owners of Carlisle's that walked me through how we got here, and it is just a lot of accounting, and I want the commissioners to know I really did appreciate it. They were proactive in approaching the city about this, and thank you, Director Grant, for being accommodating to their meeting and making sure it made sense for us. I feel good about it. I'm excited to vote yes for this. I think it's a great show that they're being good tenants and financially advantage the city of being good stewards of the arena. So.
Commissioners, any other questions or comments? Thank you, Commissioner Gorman. In the amendment, I see the number has changed from $650,000 to $439,219.91. Can you help me understand? So that is taking. So you took the $650 minus the $210,000. That's how you arrived at the $439,219.91.
Yes.
Okay.
That way it saves us compounding interest.
Okay. So the interest rate remains the same at 5% per annum. We're just making an adjustment based upon the updated reflected cost. All right. And they have intentions to make additional investments into the space. So are they looking at having that outdoor patio operating over the winter as well? They're gonna have like heating
Yeah, from my
devices out
understanding, they
there?
wanted to create something similar to like the brunch house, where it's a Four Seasons, and then they can remove the panels in the summer. But
Okay.
to actually have a structure that will allow them to serve into the outside,
Okay.
of the igloos and stuff like that.
Interesting. So I noticed. Do you want to address this right now, or just address it separately? The 1750 month.
Either way, I can address. You want me to?
Sure. I mean,
The mayor has raised an issue. In paragraph 8, you'll notice that there's a provision for overhead and maintenance expenses to be reimbursed. The language indicates that that's through the initial term. He and I talked about it a second ago. I'm not, in talking with the people that worked on this restatement, they simply changed paragraph 6. So that issue would have existed in the last agreement also. It is absolutely silent what's supposed to occur after that date. I don't have a preference whether we note it, flag it, address it in the next amendment, because I suspect over the next 4 years there's going to be other amendments as we keep working through. I don't care if you wish instead to refer this back to staff to work that issue out now. That's fine. I don't know if there's urgency relative to Carlisle.
They're paying it every month, and they plan on paying it forever. as
Well,
far as-
but the document doesn't say that.
I mean, okay, I know it doesn't say that,
so
but
it's your expectation. I guess that goes to the heart of it, and we'll just
Yes.
need to get an amendment, which is kind of that's what I was wondering. It's like, do we want to delay this a couple weeks so that we can get that language potentially clarified and do a single amendment, or do we want to move forward with this amendment and then bring back a subsequent amendment later? But
based
the
on
question,
Carlisle's, I would recommend to do it that way if we
Okay.
can do another amendment in the future, because Carlisle's is waiting on this to do their next financing.
okay, they want to move forward with their further build out. That's understandable. So, but it was your expectation that that shared common area maintenance cost is going to be continuing for the duration of the entirety of the agreement. It's not going to expire after the first 5-year option, or the first 5 years. Okay. Then we'll just need to get that language
Memorialize it.
updated and resolved, because right now it's set to expire after the first 5 years, and I don't think we want that.
Okay, I would definitely have that discussion with them.
And we may want to have, well, I think it'd be prudent to have some kind of inflator, reasonable inflator on there to adjust over time as well. So it's not just a static 1750 monthly for in perpetuity.
I'll have our office get in contact with Jake and Ken.
Okay. All right.
I'll definitely address that.
Okay. Well, thank you, Director Grant and Manager LeMay. Do you have anything to add about arena operations or Carlisle right now?
No.
No?
I'm good.
All right.
How much time you got? No, just
All right. Thank you both.
thank you.
All right. Was there anything else? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next item. G. Trash compactors, Public Works and Parks. Commissioner Emery.
Thank you. I move to authorize staff to enter into a 3-year lease agreement with Connect by Big Belly for a total of $54,589.32 over 3 years for 14 self-compacting 50-gallon trash receptacles.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Emery, supported by Vice Mayor German, to authorize staff to enter into a 3-year lease agreement with Connect by Big Belly for a total of $54,589.32 over 3 years for 14 self-compacting 15-gallon trash receptacles, which we discussed earlier this year. So we're seeing this item come back to us, and we've got our Deputy Public Works Director, Vanderhyde, to bring us up to speed and where we're at.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners, thank you. So, as you mentioned, this has been discussed for some time, but just to bring you up to date. So the goal of this effort is really twofold. It's both aesthetics at the beach to provide a better looking, more pleasing product at Per Marquette that reflects the natural beauty around it, something that is a little nicer than our typical trash barrel. It also will be a huge benefit to our staff in that these units are designed to self-compact the refuse and essentially take the air out of those bags, allowing our staff to empty those units much less often than they currently need to do on busy summer weekends. So that is the goal. A little bit on the specifics. This is a lease. It is a 3-year lease that we're proposing. That's mainly because we are a little bit hesitant to think that these units will do super well in the sand at the beach. We hear from the manufacturer that they will, but we've heard that from others before. So this gives us the opportunity to, a year in, if the units have stopped functioning due to sand, snow, any combination of the above, we can either exit the lease if it's been a terrible experience, or cause them to replace the units, maybe with something more robust or whatever it may be. This is for 14 self-compacting units. It's going to be set up such that there are 10 standalone refuse units and 2 double station units, which will have a refuse and a recycle in those 2 double units. That's, again, a little bit of a pilot program. We'll see how that goes. Few factors there in terms of, will folks honor the recycling label there and therefore allow us to truly bring it to a recycling facility, and also what the staff time impact is to maintain that separate waste stream and take care of it. So, but that's pretty much the details there. Again, it is a lease. It's a 3-year lease, so the financials are a little strange. If you look at the on your cover sheet there, the amount requested, that is 3 months worth of lease payments for the 14 units, and then the overall amounts below that are over the 3-year lease period.
Thank you. Commissioner Emery, do you have any additional questions or?
Yeah, I love this idea, and I hope that it works out for us. How many garbage cans do we have out there? Do you know? Anybody know the number?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I apologize. Matt Schreman, our park supervisor, probably would, but it's I would estimate it's 25 over the summer on busy
So this
weekends.
won't replace all of them. This is just a test, so to speak, to see how it works.
We plan to replace the busiest 14. So
Okay.
yes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions or remarks? All right. So, if this works well at the beach, we're looking at potentially expanding this elsewhere in our park system or downtown.
Yeah, in fact, the units could be moved downtown at some point during the lease process, depending on how heavy they are and how difficult they are to reinstall. They are bolted to the ground, so we'll see what that looks like. But that's, again, part of the lease process, gives us a chance to evaluate. We do hope that if it goes well, we'll be able to use these in more areas throughout the city. I'm not sure that they'll be well suited for every trash can location in the city, but certainly at the beach, other high-use parks, downtown, other areas like that. You bet.
All right, excellent. And speaking of trash receptacles, are we planning on? I hear input from citizens about them downtown and wanting to make sure that we're keeping them at least Hackley Park over winter. They're not being removed, and would love to have them more locations downtown at key intersections. Are we going to keep them at the park? And I don't know exactly where they're all located downtown, but might you have any insights into our near-term outlook with regard to trash can pit? I know this isn't on the agenda, so I'm putting you on the spot here, but it's tangentially relevant.
Sure, no problem. So there's 2 types downtown, of course. There's the in-place units that are bolted to the ground, right? We see most of those along Western and other high-traffic areas, and then in Hackley, there's a mixture of, sort of bolted ones, and then we supplement. Anything that's bolted down, of course, will be there throughout the winter, and we'll maintain it. If there's a need for additional units in and around Hackley Park or anywhere else, we can certainly take a look at that and plan to keep those in place.
And when I get those questions and concerns, should I relay them directly to you? Should I have them relayed to our parks supervisor, Matt Schweman, or who's best to forward those remarks or questions to?
Either one of us is fine. Matt will probably give me the answer if someone calls me, but that's all right, because then I'll know the answer.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. All right. Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor German,
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. All right, we don't have any public hearings. We don't have any unfinished business. We don't have any new business.
I have
All
no
right.
business.
Oh, you do have new business. Oh, something got added. I did not get it. Where is it? Is this it?
That's it.
All right. I saw our deputy clerk put something on my table here, but I didn't have a chance to look at it. So we do have new business. All right. I will let before we proceed, we're going to handle these individually. We can handle them individually or together.
Individually would be better.
Individually better. Okay. So commissioners, I entertain a motion for the 206 Irwin.
A motion to approve the purchase agreement and amendment for 206 Irwin Avenue.
Support.
Mr. Mayor, correct me if
We
you
already have
like,
206.
but 206 Irwin and
That is done.
1527 Hoyt were both on the consent.
291 is new. Do you know why we got another
Yep.
printout of 206?
Yep, 206. This revised cover sheet I thought was going to replace the old one. We have an amendment to the purchase agreement. So you guys have approved the purchase agreement, but now there's an amendment to also approve.
All right.
Thank you.
So we're going to handle the amendment to the purchase agreement that was on our consent agenda first. And we have a motion from Commissioner
Read my
St.
motion.
Clair. You stated as to approve the purchase agreement and amendment for 206 Irwin Avenue. Do I have a support?
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner St. Clair, supported by Commissioner Gorman, to approve the purchase agreement and amendment. That's probably the fastest staff-initiated amendment in history for 206 Irwin Avenue. Now, Manager Mike Zell.
Sure. So originally the purchase price was, I believe, $180,900 with seller concessions at $6,800, and so the amendment here is at the request of the purchaser to increase the sales price by $2,000 and increase the seller concessions by $2,000, so the net funding to the city doesn't change at all.
All right. So no change in the net to the city. Commissioners, any questions or comments on this? Anything to add, legal counsel?
Nope.
Nope. All right. If there's nothing else, then I ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Gorman,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner St. Clair,
Yes.
Mayor Johnson,
Yes.
Vice Mayor German.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Next new business item, we have a motion to approve the purchase agreement for 291 McLaughlin Avenue.
I motion to approve the purchase agreement for 291 McLaughlin Avenue.
Support. All right, we have a motion by Commissioner St. Clair, supported by Vice Mayor German, to approve the purchase agreement for 291 McLaughlin Avenue. Commissioner St. Clair? You want to lead out or ask questions, or I guess
So-
just refer it back to Manager Mike
Yep.
Zell.
Yep.
Could you report out on this item?
Sure. So this home is not yet complete. It is just under construction, and we've already received a purchase offer on this one. So the proposed sale price is $172,500. This is with no seller concessions. Something that you may note in the purchase agreement is that the earnest money is quite a bit higher. That's $5,000. Many of them have been about $1,000. In this case, the buyer has requested a change to the floor plan on the second floor to have just 2 bedrooms instead of 3. And so we are requesting this additional earnest money in case they back out of the sale. That gives us the funding we would need to get it back to the 3-bedroom that it was part of the normal design. And this one I have not signed yet. It just came in today. So once you approve, I will sign, or if you don't approve, then I'll go back with something different. Is that not on there?
That's what I'm looking
They've
for.
been really good about putting that in there.
Yes, they have been, and I can't find it.
We can do an amendment
Yes.
like we did last time.
Right, I can put that in the, down there probably.
The discussion is occurring is, the form document calls for a warranty deed. We can't give a warranty deed, we give quitclaim deeds. Normally, our realtor's been adding an addendum, making that change, but I don't see
that
it.
here.
So I would ask for an amendment to make that change.
It's like a friendly amendment.
Okay.
Commissioner St. Clair to
That's fine.
reflect.
Yeah, typically it's been in the other provisions section, but I don't see that. So I can include that as just a addition.
Please and thank you.
Can you repeat what
All right.
what is it we're adding?
So that'd be it. To approve the purchase
Wait.
agreement for 291 McLaughlin Avenue to be transferred by quitclaim deed.
Yes.
Okay. We're just adding at the end to be transferred by quitclaim deed. Do you support that friendly amendment,
I
Vice
can
Mayor German?
support that. Just another question. Okay, so we're looking at we have the earnest money of $5 grand that we're looking at, but you're looking at additional funding for the square footage, or from 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom, or was it 3 bedrooms to 2 bedrooms?
No, it's not additional space. No, it's not additional square footage. The design of all of these homes has 3 bedrooms on the second floor, and this buyer is requesting that we build just 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms, okay.
And what is the? Do you have any follow up,
No,
Vice
no,
Mayor German?
no.
So what? House is not yet been built. It's in the process of being built.
Correct, in the process.
Yeah, that's okay. And who's the buyer? I didn't see that
Should say
listed
on
on
here.
here.
Usually on that signature page. Oh, normally the buyers have already signed it. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
So, this is the new build. It's currently under construction. So I'm going to put it in. So they're entering this purchase agreement to get those conditions changed to the build out of the home that's under construction. Okay. So there's no concessions, you said, on this one?
Correct.
All right. Commissioners, any questions or comments? Commissioner Emery.
We do. So what we're agreeing to, or not agreeing to, is the sales price will be $172,500,
Correct.
and yet it's cost us $235,000
Correct.
to build, and we don't know yet if that's because it's still in construction.
Well, if you look back at the other offers we have received, they've all been very similar to this amount. This is in line with what we're seeing with values for the neighborhood. And I guess I would ask that you remember that all of these are in a brownfield, so this gap is covered by the brownfield. We will be paid back.
That was going to be my, okay.
We will be paid back.
That makes sense.
That was going to be my next question. Yes. All right,
Sorry,
thank you.
that's the case for all of these.
Yes, thank you.
All right. While we're on the topic, is Jake here? Mm-hmm. Director Ekholm. Yes. You can come up because we had a conversation earlier about process and policy related to the ARPA home infill and how we're selling these homes. And could you just update the commission on where we're at with that and what your outlook is for bringing them to the commission?
Sure. So the practice that we're going to be putting in a staff policy and then just presenting, giving an overview to the commission is, as you know, 50% of these homes, the target for these contracts is to be below 120% of the AMI area median income. So for every one market rate or non-household at 120% or less AMI that we sell, we need to make sure that there's one that's sold that is below that threshold. So with this first set of ARP houses in the McLaughlin neighborhood, what we're finding is very similar in design and floor plan to some of the stuff that sold in Nelson. And what we're finding is that with the finishes that were selected and having them all built out, they're a little bit overbuilt for that market right now, given the interest rate environment. So our goal moving forward will be to try to react to that interest rate environment. Another thing that we want to make sure that we're showing the commission how we're doing is working through our CNS department with our sellers agents. Depending on the developer, there's different sellers agents, working with potential buyers to income qualify them to make sure that we're hitting those AMI targets. So just today we had one actually for Mr. Briggs's ARP agreement that is coming in with an offer, and she is under the 120% AMI target. We're hoping to qualify her for some other CNS programming, but unfortunately, due to some technical aspects of that funding, she's not eligible. So what we'll be doing is kind of laying that out on paper for you guys to see how that staff policy will go and at what point in the sale those items take place. So in the future, you'll have a solid understanding of how, when these come before you, the staff work that's going into that. And obviously I can answer any questions to that. So effectively what we see is our agent works with the buyer's agent to have their client directly reach out to the CNS department so that they can income qualify them to see where they're at in that AMI table. Obviously I'm trying to be somewhat general because we don't want to betray people's privacy with that income information. But the mayor has rightly asked that we put that into just a staff practical policy so that we can show you guys, and then we'll share that with the commission, either in a meeting or over electronic communication, just so you have the policy and you can see how we do that step by step.
Commissioners, any questions for Director Ekholm while we have him here?
If I missed anything, feel free to remind me. But yeah, we just had that conversation a little while ago.
And you anticipate having something to the commission later this month in writing with regard to our process and
Yep. So our division has a leadership meeting coming up this Wednesday, and I'm going to place it on the agenda to develop a policy. It should be fairly straightforward because not only do we want to, ensure that we're hitting our AMI benchmarks for the ARP infill housing program, but if there are buyers eligible that are buying our houses that would be eligible for our other programs and offerings through CNS, we want to make sure they're availing themselves of that too. So yeah, it's effectively just kind of writing down the process that we're following now. So I'm hoping to have something on for the next meeting.
Okay. We also talked about the possibility of doing what we do similarly with our CNS homes that we sell, of placing liens on these. That's something that you're going to discuss internally with staff about the practicality of that, and decide what is reasonable from the staff's perspective of bringing to the commission for our consideration.
Sure. And so, yeah, I want to touch on, I'm going to be speaking with the city attorney during his office hours tomorrow. We have a standing that we try to touch base every Tuesday, and that's on my list of things to discuss with him. And then from there, it'll be part of this policy discussion from the CNS direct. I'd like to get her expertise and weigh in a little bit. Our HUD dollars that we receive through CDBG and home are very regulated, and it's pretty regimented and process driven as to how you secure those liens and to let people avail themselves of programming. These ARPA dollars, there's guidelines, but they're a little bit less cut and dry. So, Director Wills and Director Carson will have a lot of insight to that issue. The other thing I wanted to point out is that would be, securing us in the event of any potential like house flips or things of that nature. So, we want to counterbalance that against what we're really trying to achieve with the infill of new housing into neighborhoods, which is, new opportunities for owner occupation, not so much opportunities for income properties and things of that nature. So we're going to kind of put all that together and see what we can do from a legal standpoint. The other point I want to make is and it ties to securing our investments in these homes, same way Aline would, is the brownfield TIF that was brought up by the manager. So even though we're taking some heavier losses as far as sale price in the McLaughlin neighborhood, other neighborhoods such as Jackson Hill and Nelson, where we've built, two things helped us out there. One, a better interest rate environment at the time we were selling those homes, and two, better material costs at the times we were selling those homes. So we got pretty close to construction price for sale on just about all of those, and these are all in one large brownfield plan amendment. So the ones that sell strong will subsidize the ones that sell weaker, and I think that's probably a good thing, because it means that where there's neighborhoods that maybe have the most need for those lower price points, they can have those lower price points, and then the neighborhoods that sell stronger, those homes, the tax base we generate in the TIF from those homes will subsidize those lower selling ones. So we're secured in that way, that to make sure that we get our investment back in a timely manner.
Okay. Thank you much. And yeah, I'm interested in hearing further about the prospect of placing a lien. Well, I understand that we do have the brownfield, scatter site brownfield that we're using for reimbursement over time. I also realize that the cost differential between what it costs to construct and what we're selling these are at is substantial. And it's going to take a long time to be reimbursed through the brownfield. And I think it's important that we are creating potential proper and prudent safeguards against someone that's potentially buying a home and getting a substantial haircut, and then the market's rebounding next year, doing well, and they sell it for a profit. And I think that that's where I think that it may be prudent for us to have those liens on there to recoup that cost differential. And then the money that's captured through the brownfields can be used for other purposes to support the continued build-up and development of our city and community. The other thing that I raised earlier this year, so something else to reflect on as potential bringing forward with processes and policies with regard to this program, is the establishment of a dedicated housing fund, like an affordable or attainable housing fund at our community foundation. Grand Rapids has pursued that. I'd be interested in us exploring that, and taking, when we get to net proceeds, we're not there yet. We're a ways away from actually capturing net proceeds from this program. That right now is anticipated going back into our public improvement fund. But if we were to establish an affordable housing fund, the prospect can be able to allocate those resources to go to that, so that we can recycle these funds and continue to support housing throughout our city.
Yeah, that's a great point, Mayor. And so, or an affordable housing development fund, or a perpetual affordable housing fund, is one of the items that we're kind of in sort of a workshop phase with, along with community land trust concept that we're working on. We actually just recently went and visited the Grand Haven Community Land Trust Board, and introduced ourselves to them, and we're talking about some of the finer points of how they operate. We have some ideas, some mid and long-term ideas around like perpetual affordable housing in the owner-occupied space as well as the rental space, and so we'll be bringing those forth, I would say, in the coming 24 months probably. It's going to take a lot of time to build the programmatic recommendations, a lot of community engagement and input to kind of see, what types of housing people are looking for, where they're looking to have it, and then what the housing needs assessment's underway right now, and that should be done around March or April of next year, and we're hoping that will give us a lot of informed data as to, really region by region of the city, what will work best from a community land trust standpoint, or making sure we're distributing equitably any affordable housing funds, by geography and by impacted population. So it's not going to be a quick endeavor, but we want to do it right. So we're going to try to work over the next couple budget years to implement those types of programs. So.
All right. Well, thank you for your ongoing efforts to expand housing options in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you, Director Erickholm. Commissioners, any final thoughts before we go to vote? All right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner St. Clair?
Yes.
Mayor Johnson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor German?
Yes.
Commissioner Gorman?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, Commissioners. We did have one other item under any other business, cost recovery ordinance, discussion only, that has been removed or delayed to another time. Do any of you have any items that you wish to bring up for discussion under any other business at this time? No? All right. And then we'll move on to public comment. General public comment. I do have one slip. It's not too late to give public comment if you so wish to do so. Ideally, complete the public comment form in the back of the room and give that to our clerk and Mish over there. The one form that I have, unless you have any others, Madam Clerk? No? All right. The one form I have is Ann Vandermolen, joining us from Roosevelt Park. Good evening, Ann. Welcome. You have up to 3 minutes to provide remarks.
Hope I can do this in 3 minutes. I'm going to speak on domestic violence. I had COVID about 3 weeks ago, so I hope I can not cough. Okay, as I've said before, my main goal is to fight for children. I try to protect children. When my youngest nephew was about 3, I jumped in the Mona Lake Channel in a very dangerous situation to save his life. I didn't call 911 with all due respect. I just did it. I knew his life needed to be saved, so I saved his life. I didn't rely on anybody else but God. Many people from around town, like Charlie from Radium Photography, know my nephew's dad. I've also tried to help other children as well. So my main goal is to fight for children, but I also have to fight for myself. I'm trying to get a certain law passed, and I can't very well talk to politicians who may have seen certain rumors about me on the internet. So in order to combat some of those rumors that I know are out there, I need to tell my story. And I'm not going to use his name because I'm too afraid. I'm afraid of him. I met this man almost 9 years ago, and I thought he was divorced, so we started to see each other. On one occasion, he violently manhandled my body and scared the heck out of me. I knew I had to end things, and I did. I finally decided to write a police report, and when I told the police officer my story, the words just came out. I didn't plan those words. I didn't choose those words. Those words just came out. But I don't regret them. If someone doesn't want someone else to say they remind them of a certain something, then they shouldn't be violent with somebody else's body. I believe my report was leaked and put online. That report should never have gone public, and my words should never have been taken out of context. Because of that, I believe that this person has said he never met me and that I just made up the accusation of him being violent with me. But I've got many texts, emails, and phone calls to prove otherwise. And some of those I made into photocopies. They're in my purse. And those are from the past 2 years. And I can't show you, I don't have the ones from 9 years ago, but I couldn't show anybody those anyway because they were too vulgar. I'm almost done. Along those lines, regretfully, I let him film me. I really regret that. And y'all know him, most of you know him. But after 2 minutes, I asked him to shut it off. But I always wondered if he went on filming. In a text from February 12, 2021, he mentioned something about my body. I have no idea he remembered that after about 7 years. I believe he either remembered that about me, or I have to wonder if he went on filming. But I'm not accusing him of that. It's a good thing I love my short hair, because after what he did to me, I'll never have it long again. He yanked my head so hard and screamed in my ear. Then he restrained my head so that I was looking at him. He had no right to ever harm my body. And most of you, everybody, knows who this man is, but I'm too afraid to say his name. Maybe I'll do it next time. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a voice, and I might say his name next time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann, for joining us and speaking up on domestic violence and sexual assault. It's your truth, whether you want to reveal the name or not. That's entirely up to you. Just for the purposes of anyone watching at home or in the audience who might be questioning, just to put any questions at ease, can you confirm for us that there's nobody that works for the City of Muskegon or on behalf of the City of Muskegon? There's nobody in City Hall that this person. Okay.
No, in fact, I don't know if I can tell you a little bit.
You don't need to. I just want, in
Okay.
case anyone was wondering why might you be sharing this story, they might be questioning or wondering, is this about someone that works for City Hall or, is an elected official or something like that? So just to put any of those questions at ease or
He's a very
address them, I just wanted to confirm
Yeah.
that you're not speaking on anyone that
No.
is at City Hall or works for City Hall.
He's a very public figure. He was quite a few years ago, so he still is today. And when he did this to me, he called himself Mr. Muskegon, and he, said he's the most powerful man in Muskegon. But no, he doesn't work. No.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Take care. All right. Now we have Maria McIntosh joining us from the Jackson Hill neighborhood. Joined by Mr. Randy Vanderwhite from the McLaughlin Neighborhood Association and neighborhood. And then we have Miss Billy Thomas joining us from the Jackson Hill neighborhood. Welcome, good folks.
Thank you.
Now, I
Hello.
know you say you're speaking for 3-in-1C. Can you get it? Do you think 3 minutes will suffice?
So
Or
we're
are
speaking.
you
It could
requesting?
go, yeah. It
Okay.
could go a little bit longer, but it's definitely not gonna go 10 minutes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to say. I didn't see a checkbox on whether you were speaking as a group. All right, welcome.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. So, as you can see, we have Pastor Randy Vanderwhite and also Mrs. Thomas from the McLaughlin Neighborhood Association and the Jackson Hill Neighborhood Association represented with us tonight on behalf of Coalition 3-in-1C. So, as you all remember, a little less than a year ago, the community members rallied together and put together a petition with the support of Vice Mayor German, opposing the rezoning of the Jackson Hill, McLaughlin, and Angel neighborhoods. And the petition that the community put forth was not just in opposition of the rezoning of those areas, but we want to make sure that in the event that there was a rezoning, that proper regulations were put into place so that we could mitigate or minimize the effects of gentrification. In addition to that, we asked for 18 months to be able to commission a credible, reputable third-party organization to be able to conduct a study on our behalf to see what the effects of rezoning our areas would look like, but most specifically what we should be asking the investors, the city, developers for, so that we could have investment within our communities that really is true investment for us. We asked for an 18-month period to be able to do that. In addition, we asked that that based on this study, it would give us not only a voice, but make sure that our voices have impact as we move forward with whatever direction we decide to go in. So as you all know, we commissioned Northeastern University to complete that study for us. They completed that study for us, and we're happy to say that on December 6th, we're going to do a community release of that particular study. And it's going to be held at the Bethesda Baptist Church at 6 p.m. on December 6th, 2022. In addition to that, because of the support that we received from Mr. German, as part of that, we're going to implement a community-based task force. And our organization is really community driven, so we have like a 70-30 model as far as how we're moving forward with our initiatives. So 70% community driven and 30% community stakeholders participation. And if you notice, you all have been in other type of meetings and other type of advisory boards. That's generally not the case. Generally, it's very heavy with the city and organizations and all these other grass tops organizations who have a lot of input as to what community wants, but really members of the community are not really present. Their voices are not really heard. People from organizations and from business owners and other people with their own individual stakes within the community they're really deciding what's best for us. So just as a preliminary request, as part of that, or part of that 30%, we're asking that because Mr. German has been so instrumental and supporter from day one, even when we was under the Garwin administration, that he be the first person that we ask to join that particular task force as a part of the mayor's office. Because that task force has to be more evenly structured when it comes to the community stakeholder side of it. So we're asking that, and then we'll give you more details when we release the study. But we want to make sure that we give you an invitation, give the community an invitation to come out, hear what Northeastern has to say about measures that we should be taking within our community to help support the residents within our community. Okay, thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, and
tonight.
also, I forgot to say, well, I wanted to also add, we heard what Jake had to say about the progress or the initiatives that the city manager's office is looking into. So we look forward to hearing that and also partnering with that as well. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the three of you joining us tonight. I appreciate your ongoing efforts of collaboration with the city and helping to lift up folks throughout our community as well. And so I'm eagerly looking forward to the December 6th meeting and hearing more about the results of that study and how we can move forward together on behalf of all of our citizens.
All right, thank you.
Thanks so much. Take care. Be well. Anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak under general public comment? Yes, Mr. Alexander.
Mayor, Commissioners, Dave Alexander, Business
Beechwood
Development.
Bluffton neighborhood.
I am from the Beechwood Bluffton neighborhood. Yes, I am. Business Development Manager for the city. I just wanted to briefly report to you that the Michigan Downtown Association was in town Thursday and Friday. We had about 100 people. We were at the Van Dyke Mortgage Convention Center, the Delta, Fronthal Center, the Social District food and beverage establishments, and rave reviews. You need to know the support that you did for creating that convention center is working. First time that I was there as an attendee, it was the best that I have seen in the last 7 years that I've been part of the Downtowns Association of Michigan in terms of facility and its overall presentation of a community. And there was a lot of Muskegon-centric content that was part of the conference. And Mayor, I thank you for providing a welcome to that. But you need to know that the convention center is working. You knew that for those that went to the MML. We continue to have some very good use of that here as we go into the winter season. So thanks for your past support of that facility.
Absolutely. And thank you for helping to facilitate that them having their annual conference here in Muskegon and being to tour and helping to have them make the most of their time here in Muskegon. It was a good group of folks, and I did look at their agenda. I wish I could have participated in more of their breakout sessions. They had a lot of great sessions and really highlighted some of the work happening here in the city of Muskegon and downtown. So it was wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. All right. Anyone else in the audience? All right. Seeing none. Unless commissioners came up with any last minute any other business, then I would Did you get anything by chance? Then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Support.
All right, we have a motion by Vice Mayor German, supported by Commissioner Emery. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you. Take care and be well.
Everyone have a good night.